Hello everyone, this is G and I'm back with the second video of the day. A bit unintended, but I wanted to make just a brief comment. One second actually. Sorry about that, my AC was on. So I actually just came across this Bounding into Comics article. First I have to give a hand and a shout out to Yellow Flash because he's the reason I even heard about it, so then I looked it up on my own. So apparently, Daniel Kibblesmith, right, the guy who wrote that god-awful, trash New Warriors comic back a few months ago. It was supposed to come out in April, but it never did due to the shutdown and being that April was like one of the hardest months, especially in New York City, for the shutdown. So the reason why I bring this up is because apparently there was a incident involving an officer in New York City recently. I just heard about this reading this article. So to make a long story short, apparently there was an officer, I'm guessing somewhere in the Bronx, who was using their vehicle, in particular, I guess the siren on the vehicle, to spread a Trump 2020 message, right? And people reported this online, and ultimately that officer was, to my understanding, suspended without pay. So Daniel Kibblesmith, because you know he's such a warrior, he's such a fighter for justice, right? He decides to come online. Let me just look this up. I feel like what's his face? The Gospel according to Mark with a C. He is I, and I am he. Or would it be in this case, Jean with a G? She is I, and I am she. But anyway, so not only did he try to imply that this officer was racist, right, and not only did he try to say that this officer should be fired, in fact, his tweet states, normalize firing people who have the power to destroy lives. Daniel. Number one, this officer, while incredibly unprofessional, and they were punished for being unprofessional, has not ruined anyone's life. He at best annoyed people with what he did. He's not a threat to anybody, just because he preached Trump 2020. And let's be perfectly honest here, Danny boy, Mr. Kibblesmith, you should be making dog food. But then again, if I had a dog, I still wouldn't feed him anything that you made. But still. Why do you want this man fired? Let's be honest here. You don't want him fired because of his unprofessionalism. You want him fired because of the political party he was supporting. Okay? Because you wouldn't say one damned word about it. You would actually advocate for his punishment to be lesser if he had said Biden 2020. This isn't about firing him because he was unprofessional, because if he had said Biden 2020, that's still being unprofessional. Police in their day-to-day duties, right, in their job as a cop, are supposed to be apolitical. They are not supposed to use their position as a police officer to advance any political or promote any political stance, party, philosophy, whatever. That's not their job. Their job is to deal with crime, right, and criminals and violations of the law, not promote politics in any way. They must remain apolitical, which is what the commissioner emphasized in his tweets. And for all of my misgivings about the commissioner and about the New York City police in general, in this case, I don't see where anything was wrong. This person was unprofessional. They're being disciplined. There's no need to demand their job. Nobody got hurt. That's what you should be happy about. That's what you should be proud of. That no one got hurt. When we're constantly living in this 24-hour news cycle, right, that is trying to train and condition us to jump at every time a black person gets hurt at the hands of the police, especially if it's a white officer, you should be damned happy that the most egregious thing this officer did, I don't even know the officer's race and I don't much care, but you should be happy the most egregious thing that this officer did was just say Trump 2020 with their sirens. So that's the first thing. But here's really the reason why I'm making the video. Because here's the thing. Apparently Kurt Busiek resist! What the hell are you resisting, Kurt? You are literally a rebel without a cause. But anyway, because they were talking about, how do you get a person fired when they're part of the union and all this other stuff. So Kurt says it takes a while because of union rules. It's not that often that they actually can just up and fire someone without a lengthy process. This needs fixing. I'm all for unions, but police unions too often seem to be about enforcing a lack of accountability. I would actually agree with Kurt on the last part, except for one thing. When he talks about accountability in this case, what he is talking about is anything that would how do I put it? When he talks about accountability in this place, what he's really talking about is just, firing people for their political affiliations. He's not talking about actual accountability, right, that will impact people's safety and the officer's safety, right? He isn't talking about things like, speaking up and speaking out against, say, bad officers, right, who make them all look bad. What he's talking about is punish this man because he dared to make it public in the course of his job that he's a Trump supporter. Which, like I said, unprofessional. He shouldn't have done it. If he was a Biden supporter, it's still unprofessional and he shouldn't have done it. And he's being punished as such. But then, Kibblesmith. Again, Kibblesmith. If you don't know what he looks like, look him up. This is not exactly a imposing or intimidating guy. He then says, would it help if I came in with my hands wrapped in bandages, gently tapping a baseball bat against my opposite palm? You mean like this, Danny? You mean like that? Is that what you mean? You trying to come across as a tough guy? You have no idea what tough is. I look scarier doing this than you ever could. I'm a more intimidating presence, and anybody that knows me in real life knows I'm not a particularly violent person. And I mean no harm and no threatening demeanor, but simply me holding this and just imitating what he's talking about he wants to do. I look scarier. Understand something, Kibblesmith. A person who tries to look tough, 9 times out of 10 is not tough. Having a baseball bat, and I have this because I like baseball, and it makes for a great self-defense weapon. But having this does not make you a tough guy. Doesn't make me a tough person. Simply makes me a person who likes baseball. Simply a piece of sporting equipment. Okay, Danny? Understand something. Take a bit of advice from someone who has actually been in dangerous situations and has been in a few fights in her life. All this can do is whatever you want it to do. It's a tool. That's all it is. It depends on how you use it. You are not tough. You are not big. You are not strong. You are not scary. This bat can be used to hit a baseball. It can be used to hit a computer. It can be used to hit a person. It can be used for self-defense. It can be used to attack. It can be used for a bunch of things. And quite frankly, Kibblesmith, you're the absolute last person who should be holding a baseball bat or any sort of implement that could potentially inflict violence. Because you trying to come across big and bad on a Twitter feed, trying to sound like Max Visaggio. Oh, did you really think I forgot about what Max said years ago about wanting to take a baseball bat to people's faces and to their teeth? Right? I'm going to hit cis white people in the face and bash their teeth. Max, honey, don't. Because I'm a cis woman. Don't. Don't dance with me. Don't dance with me. You're not big and you're not bad and you're not tough if you just have a weapon in your hand or something that can be used as a weapon in your hand. You know what makes a tough person? Not responding with violence. You know what makes a tough person? Being in control. You know what makes a tough person? A tough person doesn't go around looking for fights or threatening people just because they don't get what they want. A tough person doesn't go after a person's job for a minor offense. A tough person doesn't have to act like they're tough, Danny boy, because they know damn good and well they are tough. And have nothing to prove. You are the absolute last person who should be walking around with a baseball bat or anything else. You're no hero. You're not a guardian angel. You have no idea how difficult it is for the police out there. And I speak as somebody who is not fond of the cops. I've made plenty of videos about that. I don't like them. I don't trust most of them. But as much as I may have my misgivings of the police, I despise people like Daniel Kibblesmith even more. It's those type of people who really get under my skin. But I will say this much. Danny ever wants to go to Shea Stadium and play some baseball, I'm game. But anyway, that's the video. Please let me know what you think, and I will see you all in the next one. Have a good day. Bye.